What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Teran Rodriguez, host of Set Point here on IA Sports Radio, your direct feed for all of that sports. And with me, I have a little bit of a one-on-one interview with Long Beach State men's volleyball coach Nick MacRae, libero Kellen Larson, and the do-it-all man, Dane Hillis. How are you three doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. It's good to see you, T. We're happy to be here. We love and appreciate everything you're doing for our sport and all sports. And let's get rocking, man.
Without a doubt. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule. So let's talk about the season going on happening right now. So far it's been pretty good for your team. Talk to us about what's kind of been working without giving out too much information for people that might be watching this.
I think I'll start this off and then these two can go in. We're exactly where we want to be heading into the month of February. So with our roadmap, we're constantly training with the end in mind, and that's to play in the final match of the season. And you saw us start off in January playing 4 matches in the North American Challenge. And then we had a couple home openers versus some good non-conference opponents. And you saw us get on the road for a 3-match week. And then we had a Final Four type of matchup last week versus Pepperdine, and we're happy to now be going into February where it starts the next chapter and progression of more important Final Four type matchup non-conference opponents. So this kind of goes into chapter 2 of our roadmap, and then from as we head into March, then we go into Big West play, and then at the end of April, we'll go into our Big West playoffs. And then with all this, again, training with the end in mind, going towards the NC2A championship. So ending the first month, we're undefeated. We're 8-0 right now, so you can't do much better there. And we're constantly trying to be present in the daily moment. We're not thinking too far ahead into the future. You'll hear it from these guys. And again, the most important opponent is the next opponent. But even before game day this upcoming Friday, we still have 2 more days where we get to just focus on us and how much daily individual and team improvement we can put in the gym.
Yeah, I think it's going well. I mean, we've won every game so far, and again, the next match is like the most important match. I think every day, every game, we're getting better and we're grinding things out in practice so that we can be the best that final match.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any secrets that we're going to be withholding. It's no secret of what we're doing on the court. We're playing big physical volleyball. We have some great returning seniors, Skylar Varga, Ben Braun, and some new guys, Jackson, Kellen, Jake, just putting on a show out there. I don't think there's anything special to it besides we're playing hard every day and giving it our all, and that's been enough so far, and will continue to be.
I love it. Nick, what you kind of have been talking about with the whole chapter 1, chapter 2 thing, it reminds me of Alan Knipe saying there are like 4 parts of the men's volleyball season. There's preseason, then the non-conference schedule, then the conference slate, then the postseason. So you're kind of reminding me of Alan Knipe a little, but
We're on the same journey.
So you mentioned the Pepperdine match, and this is actually a question for Kellen. Being the libero, you had to dig the ball from the likes of Cole Hartkey, Ryan Barnett, Grant Lamoureux, and many others. Talk to us about what it's like having to play defense against those big boys and so-called behemoths.
I mean, yeah, I think that's part of volleyball, and I think that's just part of the next game is digging guys like that, and we have guys just like that in our practice gym. So it's nice to have guys like that to play against in our gym, and you don't have to go out to games not playing guys at their size or at their skill level. So I mean, yeah, it's good.
Kellen's got the big goals, as you know, T. He represents Team USA. Obviously, he's our starting libero here right now, and he's got even bigger goals to go play in the biggest and baddest leagues of international volleyball when he graduates here a couple years from now, and then go represent Team USA as a future Olympian too.
Absolutely. And he's done an excellent job because it's not easy filling the void for Mason Briggs. So I do want to crank it back a little bit. I want to talk about the trip to Ohio, not just to Edward Waters, but to Columbus as well. So you played Edward Waters, George Mason, and Ohio State. What did you like about that road trip, not just volleyball wise, but like off the court wise? Because it was your first trip back to Ohio since you wound up winning the Natty.
Yeah, I mean, it felt great to be back. Familiar airport, familiar area. I wouldn't call it like a homecoming parade, but for the guys that won the national championship there, myself included, Kellen included, it was awesome to kind of relive those memories. We set the goal to be the best road team in the nation that week, and we absolutely achieved it, getting many different guys in and out of the court. Almost everybody on our team played a role in winning those matches, and we were able to come out on top. Playing 3 matches in a week is no easy task, but with the depth of our roster, it was great to see us compete at that level.
Yeah. Like what Dane said, it was nice to be back in the gym where we played the final. Yeah, it was good.
We flexed our depth. We had 16 of our 17 guys were available that week on the active roster. All 16 of them got a chance to play in the 3 matches. And then I think there's something to be said. I'm not walking their shoes on the player standpoint, but at least from the coach standpoint, when you go on the road, you're away from all the external noise, and it's like the root of your family and the most important people is the 17 guys and the staff, and we get to truly just dive into our relationships, our routine, and building connections. So it was a special week for us because we're gone for I think 6 days. So it was a very important time to just connect and focus on us.
And in one of those matches, you beat a pretty darn good Ohio State team, which made history against UCLA last week. You dropped the first set, but then regrouped. What was kind of said after that first set? Because Ohio State came out with some fire in their belly.
Personally, I don't think there was any magic as far as what was said. I think from the guy's standpoint, it's okay. Let's control what we can control and just respond. They tried to come out punching against us, and we've had plenty of lessons learned. It's been now 2 weeks since we had that match. They had a great crowd. We got to focus on everything that we kind of preach, like, hey, can we avoid the noise? Can we come out with a higher sense of urgency? And anytime you lose a point or lose a set, that's not necessarily on your game plan, but in that moment, we're just strictly able to focus on what's in our control, and our guys responded and executed at a much higher level. And then when we're done with that match, we then set some personal goals going into the next match of, okay, can we have our 0-0 championship mindset? Can we play set one with a higher sense of urgency? And again, if we're winning points, if we're losing points, we're striving to play one way and always constantly respond. And our guys have done just that.
I love it. So, you all being the reigning national champions, this week is UCLA week. It's a rematch of last year's national championship. What makes the UCLA Long Beach State rivalry exciting in men's volleyball?
I'll start, and I know these guys can dive in. I think it's special, or I know it's special for the sport of men's volleyball. Both of our businesses, so both of our programs have hoisted recent national championships. We've created many good battles through my 14 years of coaching, through these guys' careers, and even before then. Long Beach State versus UCLA have had many great battles that tend to always go into the postseason. So we're speaking the same thing again. We're going to play them twice in the non-conference season with anticipation that we'll probably see them a third time in the postseason as well. So from the volleyball community standpoint, when you come in, I mean, for men's volleyball, this is one of the times you're seeing a sellout crowd, which is normal, especially here at the Pyramid at Long Beach State. You're going to see 2 really good teams with young men that are going to go play international volleyball and with their national teams duke it out. And then you're going to see different strategic adjustments that take place between 2 quality men's volleyball staff. So it's exciting for our sport. I'll give a plug. We're actually honoring Alan Knipe Friday night as well. So he'll be at the match. And so I don't know if obviously there's not tickets available to you, but you'll be able to show the world that we're honoring Coach Knipe, and he's part of this massive legacy from where we get to be today. And anytime we play this opponent, again, they're the most important opponent because it's the next match. But yeah, we'll probably get a chance to see them 3 times this year, so we're excited.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of history to like the Long Beach State UCLA matchup. And I think just a 1v2 is also a really big game, like the preseason. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think all our guys are excited to play, the 1 seed, hopefully take that. And yeah, just play a good game of volleyball.
Absolutely. I think it would be ignorant not to just understand the excitement with this match. I would be very surprised if it wasn't a favorite match for many guys on both our roster and their roster. Men's volleyball is such a small sport where we all know each other very well. It's been a very competitive rivalry throughout the 5 years that I've been here. I think this will be my 10th non-conference UCLA match in the pyramid or this year. And maybe the two best venues to play in volleyball when sold out, Poly Pavilion and the Pyramid. No doubt, there's just tons of energy, and seeing it sell out, nearly a week before is a fantastic notion to how exciting the game will be.
And going to that match is much more different than watching it via Big Ten Plus or ESPN Plus. I think Alan even said that last year when I interviewed him, because going to a match is different than just watching it through like highlights or on a stream. But I digress on that. So I have a question for Kellen and Dane. Other than Chris Connolly or Connelly, however it's pronounced, who else do you know on that UCLA team that you're cool with? I know Kellen's probably know like a lot because of USA volleyball, but Dane, do you got anybody that you know personally on that UCLA team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've played a few USA volleyball, I guess, summers with Andrew Rowan. We grew up playing in the same division. I definitely consider us friends. David Decker, we play a lot during the summer on the beach. A lot of their friends that you'll see them out on the beach or on the grass. And no doubt, I mean, it's great to be connected with all of them. And every time we see each other, it's easy to, fall back into that friendship. And then it's also fun to see them across the court and bring back that competitive nature that we have.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Chris, having played with him last year, but yeah, I mean, like Sean Kelly, for example, I've been playing with him since I was like 13, 14 years old. Me and Andrew Rowan played on the same club team for a few years. I've played with Zach every now and then. I played with Cam. I've played with a lot of those guys. So yeah, it's nice to a little bit of like friendly banter and everything like that. But yeah, it's cool to play those guys when they're your buddies and stuff like that. But yeah.
I love it. So now that's a question for Nick. Obviously, you being the head coach of a storied program after taking over for Alan Knight, how much adaptation did you have to do in terms of like taking over for Alan? Because I know you've been with the program for a while, but taking over for a legend like him, how much adaptation that did you have in terms of that?
I would say I'm trying to lean on, which I am leaning on everything that these guys hear every single day. So T, you and I are going to connect at the end of May, and knowing at that time I'll be able to reflect on this entire journey. But what I will say, in the perspective of being a new head coach, one that was announced, it was right before season started. It's probably one of the greatest and unique spiritual growing journeys that takes place. And I've compared it to fatherhood, and knowing right now I'm leaning on everything that these guys here, I'm doing the same, living day by day, trying to come in and be the most prepared head coach, and then us having the most or being the most prepared staff, and then having the most prepared team, and just living in the present moment and knowing at the end of this thing, as we're again training with the end in mind, done it for 14 years, been able and been lucky enough to be in those moments with these guys. I think the two things that you've heard, I'm trying to constantly leave it better than I found it and bring everybody along for this journey. And this week, we've done our job in January. It's making sure I'm really focused and present with our team. As everything's been done, the outside work's been done. It's a sellout crowd. It's going to be an amazing moment. There's going to be so many fans for the sport, and there's so much positive noise for the sport that's taking place. Now it's okay for this next 48 hours before that match. I'm just hunkering down with my guys and my staff, and that's the most exciting and joyful part of my job that I look forward to continuing to do day by day.
Love it. So to close the chapter on the whole UCLA topic, you guys didn't see the UCLA Ohio State second set where it went 48-46, because I know you all were in a battle with McKendree, which went 35-33, but that set that Ohio State and UCLA played was the most points in a set, and maybe the longest set in NCAA men's volleyball history.
Yeah, I mean, it was super exciting. I think it was hard to miss. It was everywhere on social media. I mean, super exciting to watch. No doubt about it.
Teran Rodriguez of Set Point on IE Sports Radio here with Long Beach State men's volleyball coach Nick MacRae, as well as players Kellen Larson and Dane Hillis. All right, so looking at the up and coming schedule, you've got some good opponents. You're nearing that conference slate, but the first conference opponent is Hawaii. I know that's looking too far down the rabbit hole, but what can we expect from Hawaii when it comes to that match? Because I imagine that's going to be sold out too.
I'll tell you what all of us are going to promise you? We're going to promise you when we get to that week before, we're going to do another one of these, because we're going to stay super dialed in at the next opponent is the most important opponent. And knowing before we start conference, this is just the next phase of the chapter. We don't start conference for another month and a half. So let's just commit that we're going to have some more of these before that time comes up. Can we do that?
Absolutely, yes. So, yeah, and I do remember that you all have Vanguard that week, and then you've got Concordia twice, which
we've got Penn State will still be coming through. We're going to play Jessup, so we've got another, I want to say 10 to 12 opponents before we even open up Big West Conference. So knowing that we're trying for this whole thing, our job's to stay present in the day-to-day moment. By the time we do get to Big West Conference, it's going to be amazing because we've already said it, 5 of the last 7 years of national championship trophies have been hoisted by the Big West. So Big West is one of the greatest conferences out there for men's volleyball. And you see right now with the weekly rankings, it shows 3 Big West teams are in the top 5 or the top 6. So by the time we get to that point in mid-March, it's going to be, again, great for our sport. But knowing for these guys, and especially for me, our primary focus is the next match and to finish up non-conference as best as we're capable of doing for the next month and a half before we open up Big West.
Got it. So now talking about the team, obviously Skylar Varga has been just phenomenal. I remember that I think a couple years ago, he, I guess, got hurt from what Alan told me, and then he worked his way back. Talk to me about Skylar Varga and his leadership.
Yeah, I think I was going to break it up in the Ohio State game, but he's one of our absolute leaders, our captain. A fantastic leader on the court, off the court, in practice, and really, really easy to rally behind. I think there isn't a guy on this court who wouldn't look towards him for that leadership that we need, especially in the hardest of moments, in the grittiest of times, when the score gets close. He's always charging ahead for us. I don't think we could do it without him, and I'm glad that he's having the season that he's having because he deserves, every accolade that he could get.
Yeah, Sky's a guy that on the court, if I'm struggling or anything like that, I can always turn to, and he's always like a calm, very approachable person, and I love playing with him. He's an amazing player, and he's an amazing guy off the court.
He's one of the most genuine human beings, as so are these two guys next to me. Sky's one of the most genuine human beings, and I speak that to the outside world because I'm sure when you play against him, he's one of the greatest competitors, probably gets a little chirpy, but when you get to know him, it's like, man, I'm glad that young man's one of my family members. I'm glad he's on our team, and he's going to go conquer the world, of course, in volleyball, but with anything that he plans to do in his future, just like these two guys as well.
I can also attest that Skylar Varga is a genuine human being. I think I remember it was an NCAA tournament match. I think it was against Grand Canyon. He went up to me. He was like, "Oh, I never said hi to you, T. So how you been, buddy?" And that was like that really made my day. So, so anyway, I do want to talk about your middles. I think maybe the most deepest position on your team and maybe in the nation. You got Jackson Christ, you have Ben Braun, and then I think it's Isaiah Pruitt in the middle. Talk to me about your middle blocker core.
And Braden as
Braden,
well. Yeah.
absolutely.
Four really good, really efficient middles that are all very different in their own way. But to your point, all of them can be massive participants in matches, and all of them are duking it out constantly in the practice gym. And I know you only get the opportunity to see two of them start, but all four of them you're going to see at some point during this season because of the massive amount of work they're putting in the gym on and off the court. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I think it's awesome in the practice gym to have four really good middles, like Coach Nick was saying, you might just see the two starting, but those two other guys are working their ass off every single day in practice, and they're making the two guys that are playing better every day, as are the others. I think, yeah, it's great to have very, very good middles and all around.
I think you're right. I think that is the deepest middle position in the nation. I think we have four middles that could start not only on our team, on a lot of teams. It's hard to not be the two starting, especially when they're that talented. But they all do a fantastic job, just like the rest of us, of supporting, pushing each other. And, we have one goal in mind, and it's at the end of the year. And without all four of those guys, we wouldn't be able to get there.
Now, someone I do want to talk about is probably maybe the quiet guy on the team that probably doesn't get the love that most people think that he should get, and that's Ryan Peluso. I see him with a wicked jump serve. I feel he's like the do-it-all guy who who could also set and then maybe hit the ball. I've seen a couple of his big-time plays. Talk to us about Ryan Peluso.
Yeah, he is the do-it-all guy. I think he totally deserves more love. He's come in the last couple matches and served fantastic. He's got a fantastic serve out of anybody in the NCAA and is always willing to add that into our practice gym. He's a fantastic setter. He definitely can set. But a great player all around. And I love that you're bringing his name into the mix, as it should be.
Yeah, I agree. He does not get as much love as he should. But yeah, he's one of our most consistent servers. He's a guy that we can have him come in and you can count on him to make a serve and to cause some damage on the other side. And on top of being a great setter and a great server, he's also a very great defender.
He had one of his best practices today, and he was told that by the staff. So he's constantly, again, we say the most work and most growth takes place in the cave, not in the crowd. And you guys see him from the serving standpoint, but Ryan is very meaningful to our entire team, especially in our training gym. And he's constantly putting in the work to improve his craft.
I 100% agree. And he's also got a really awesome father who's the head coach of Queens men's volleyball. I got to interview him. Just wanted to throw that out there and give that a quick plug as well. But speaking of setters, Jake Pizzanti, Nick and I have obviously talked about him, and you're more than welcome to speak more about him, Nick. But talk to us about Jake Pizzanti and how he's in his first year starting at Long Beach, and he's filling the void of Moni Nikolov.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a new year. I don't think there's any void to be filled. This is the 26 team, and it's Jake's team all the way. Last year may have been the 25 team. This would be the 26 team, and Jake is bringing so much energy and so much positive things, whether that be setting the ball, serving, blocking, playing defense. But all of that comes every day in the practice gym, and you guys get to see him on the court in the weekends. And I think without a doubt, he's helping us win those matches, and we wouldn't be here without him. And we're happy to have him on the roster.
Yeah, I actually live with Jake, so I get to see a little bit of everything. But yeah, Jake works his butt off every single day, not even just in volleyball. He's doing rehab, he's doing everything like that he needs to put himself in the best shape to be his best self. So yeah, I think he's doing a very good job, and I think he'll keep getting better. I think he's great for our team.
I love it. I mean, Jake, he's done absolutely amazing. But now that I mention Moni Nikolov, I hate to have to break out the time machine back to last year, but talk to us about Moni Mania, as Alan Knipe called it, or Beatlemania with Moni. when it came to having like sold out crowds and people wanting Moni's autograph and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Moni is a very, very unique player. It was awesome to play with him. I mean, yeah, I think he changed the sport of volleyball a lot, and I think he had a very, very big impact on, the US and just volleyball as a whole. So, I mean, I'm super grateful that I got to play with him, and I have a ton of respect for everything he's done in the sport and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's super cool that for all guys who are part of that roster, like we get to now call him one of our best friends. I mean, we still talk just like most of us to him all the time. I think it's fantastic that you guys get to see him as this amazing player as we all do. But I love the friendship that I have with him. I love that he was part of our roster. We have so much love for him, and he definitely changed the sport and became one of the most famous and best players in NCAA volleyball. Long Beach has had plenty over the years, and I think we still have plenty on our roster right now that are doing that in their own way. It'll be really cool to see after, I've had 5 years here and plenty of top tier, if not best players in the last, 20 years to be on my rosters. And that's been really cool to be a part of. I really value those relationships and watching them kind of succeed at the college level and then watching them go kind of dominate overseas.
Same thing from the staff standpoint. I spoke to Moni earlier this week and sent him some photos of things that we're doing. Also have some Moni shoes in the office. But as he's playing overseas in Russia, and these guys know, all of our Long Beach family members that go play overseas, they can get very lonely at times. So we try and stay very checked in with them and ensure they still feel that same constant love over there as well.
Love it. So I actually do want to talk about Alex.
Talk about these two guys.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
get to them. Don't worry.
You got
But
it.
someone I do want to talk about is Alex Kondev, and then I guess I'll talk Isaiah Pruitt after those two. But Alex Kondev, I didn't really get to see a whole lot of him until I think maybe the UCI matches last year. So talk to me about Alex Kondev and how he kind of just has blossomed.
He put in the work last year. You said it perfect. And this is growth mindset at its best. At Long Beach State Men's Volleyball, we're a process-minded team. So you're coming in, you're buying into the process. It's not easy if you're not a starter right away. And Alex Kondev came in, I think for a short amount of the season last year, he may have been the fourth outside or he was with third outside. And then if that was this, I think it was night 2 of when we played Irvine at Irvine, which means that wasn't until late March when he came in and was officially a starter. So he put in all the work in the cave behind the scenes. Again, it's not always easy, but then you're able to see him have success at the end of March into April and then all the way to a national championships. And now he gets to be the example of other guys that are in our program of, okay, you're going to come in and buy into the process, have a growth mindset, and keep putting in the work. And that's what I get to use and have those conversations. If Alex Kondev has done it, Alex, he can then have conversations with freshmen that are going through possibly a similar trajectory, and he gets to be a leader with the path that he's walked from there.
Yeah, I think Alex is a beast. He's good at every aspect of volleyball. I love playing with him. He's a very serious guy, and he's very good at his craft. Yeah.
Absolutely. Nothing but praise for Alex. I think it's rare to find somebody that physically talented and that well-structured as a volleyball player in terms of ball control, passing. He can do it all. And I think, we'll continue to see him do it all the rest of the year.
Teran Rodriguez, host of Set Point on iSports Radio with Nick MacRae, Kellen Larson, and Dane Hillis. Just a few more questions, and then I'll let you go. So we have to talk about Kellen Larson. This is a question for Dane and Nick. Talk to us about the growth of Kellen Larson from his freshman year all the way up till now.
Kellen Larson came in a semester early from high school as just a little lad. And he is the definition of kind of putting in the work, doing all that in the cave, as they would say, behind the shadows. And now finally he's, obviously blossomed into more than, our starting libero. He's a leader on the court, leader off the court. And just a great example of what kind of happens when you come to Long Beach and really buy in. Kellen's going to have a long career ahead of him, as this is what, now your second year of eligibility.
Yeah.
And no doubt will succeed at this level and at the next level. I think it's going to be really exciting to see what he can do.
This relationship of Dane and Kellen is the epitome. And I mean, if I'm in this business coaching for the next 20 years, I'm leaning on this type of relationship. It's the leadership in Dane Hillis as a senior, constantly leaving everyone in every area better than he found it, on and off the court. And we're all going to support Dane for the rest of his life. And Dane's mentorship within Kellen, because they're both like he's got a yes, yes mentality. Where does the team need me? And he's put ego aside. And we'll get back to that of make sure all of us from a staff and teammate standpoint support Dane personally. But Dane is fully invested in the growth and mentorship of Kellen, who he's sitting next to as well, and while also competing against him every single day in the gym. So for me, this duo is magical, and both of them are trying to leave it better than they found it. And Dane, being a senior, does that every single day.
I love it. And then Kellen, this is a question exclusively for Kellen. Talk to me about what it means to have Dane Hillis as a teammate. Just because I've known Dane, I've seen him play at St. Clemente High. He was a beast, and I've seen him play in some Long Beach matches where he's made some clutch moments.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Dane since I was like 16. He would invite me to open gyms and everything like that. I practiced with him at Balboa, played some USA things with him.
Long Beach.
Got me. Yeah, a big reason why I came to Long Beach. I mean, I love Dane. Dane is like someone I've always looked up to, and again, like I said, was one of the big reasons I came to Long Beach, is because when you look at guys that are like people who you want to be like and people you want to surround yourself with, he was one of those guys for sure. And I have nothing but respect for everything he's done inside and outside of volleyball, everything he's taught me. And, I look up to him as like a mentor.
One of my first opportunities to coach like USA volleyball as a head coach, and I got to run like the whole program. And you always kind of remember those first. Dane he was a part of the group that I got to like run all the film sessions. I was again running the staff for my first time. Probably had 50 guys in the gym, and I'm trying to kind of speak to the entire unit. I want to say you were either 15 or 16 years old. It might have been right before June 15th. And I was asking as a young coach, like all these questions. We're in a film session, and there was only one guy who was participating and engaging every time. It was Dane. I left that. I said, look, there's one guy we got to bring over to Long Beach State, and it's you. And part of it, like that's a story that I'll tell for the rest of my life because it was very meaningful as a first-time head coach with the USA High Performance Program. But now, and this stories will get told in May as we celebrate Dane graduating, but I'm a first-time now collegiate head coach, so it's very meaningful to have Dane a part of just every tier in my life. So hopefully, I mean, you'll hear plenty more stories because we already said we're going to get back on another Zoom call with you before conference, but Dane Hillis will be celebrated every step of the way.
I love it. And I know we're only in February, but this is a fill in the blank question. Long Beach State wins the national championship if blank.
If everything goes to plan.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just put period.
Yeah.
I love it. Dane is the answer man, as Charlie Brand once said to me. All right, that was an amazing interview. Before we sign on off, do you have any other shout outs or thank yous you want to give before I send you all on your way?
I'll give a shout out to MacRae Smith, Amir Lugo Rodriguez, John Perry, Matt Prosser. They're on our staff. They're the rest of our coaching staff. I get to sit here as the head coach, but they're the one putting in a ton of work behind the scenes. As you've heard all of us talk about their other teammates too. We're a family, and it takes all of us.
Best staff in the country. Everybody involved with the pyramid management. Our matches have been fantastic this year. We're really looking forward to playing UCLA this weekend. We know it's no easy task, and there's a lot of people that go into setting up these matches, especially when it's sold out crowd. All of our fans, we just want to thank all of you guys for being there and supporting us.
Yep. Shout out LB Nation.
LB Nation, Chelsea, our SID, who's helping tee all this stuff up too. She's a big time family member of ours. So yeah, LB Nation, LB family, let's keep doing this thing together. Go Beach.
I love it. Yeah, definitely got to give a shout out to Chelsea for helping organize this. It really means a lot. So, with that said, that is going to do it for this interview. Thank you, Dane Hillis, Kellen Larson, and Nick MacRae. I appreciate all three of you for being on here and taking time out of your day. I will see you three on Friday for the sold out match between Long Beach State and UCLA. Definitely do check out that match. If you have your ticket, kudos. But if not, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. But for Dane, Kellen, and Nick, this is Teran Rodriguez signing off. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye, T.